What a day. Uh, of not a lot. Just pretty humdrum, uh, everyday type stuff, primarily. Um, but earlier on, now I've been reading about this 20th century theorist, Pierre Bourdieu. He apparently isn't that popular on popular outlets online. Um, but I find the guy fascinating, even though it's sort of stuff that I've come across before. Even so, the way he approaches it is pretty interesting. I do want to learn more about the guy. But learning about 20th century thinkers has got me thinking about, for example, the Second World War. Um, and things like that. And I think this is what triggered. And something else. It's 13 months to the day since my mum died, and it's interesting that an image I posted to a social media outlet was this sort of mediated, influenced by the mass media image. So even at moments like that, you can get influenced by stuff like that. Not in ways I wouldn't be influenced by now, sort of thing, in any everyday sense. Um, but yeah, and it was off the back of thinking about that, thinking about the Second World War and stuff like that. That I was sort of looking at the wall over there when the sunlight was hitting it, and I just sat there and I thought I could be in any post-war era now. Just looking at that, and I would sort of I could fit based on my mental model of those eras, any of those eras, and get into and the the approach I had, the way I was looking, the thoughts I was thinking, and so on and so forth, would be entirely fitting for any of those eras. And I don't think it would have changed much between those eras. Um, that I may not be explaining that very well, but to me, it just sums up the type of, and it may not sound interesting, but to me, it sums up the type of states you can attain when you're not saturated by the mass media, by mediated representations of stuff. Uh, I thought it was fascinating, but like I said, it won't sound like much. But anyway, later on, as the evening progressed, now and again, I'll just engage with AI, and I think we all know by now the it's almost certainly been programmed with characteristics of certain characters. Let's put it that way. Not that I really want to go there, but yeah. So and that it wouldn't take much to program stuff in that way. It doesn't take much to deal with stuff that has been programmed in that way. It's just quite interesting to play off it sometimes. But yeah, and yeah, and it was that was no point really. Oh yeah, I asked it because I remembered I don't know what you'd call him, popular academic or whatever, a guy called Desmond Morris. It was around when I'll be polite and say the bullshit that was this big idea about body language was all the rage, and I think it was the 80s. And I read his book, The Human Zoo, which I really liked at the time. I realised it wasn't that great a book. Thinking back, I'd have to read it again to give it a fair assessment. But anyway, uh, it was Morris who had written something about when the Second World War the onset of the Second World War, and the last thing that was shown on TV was Mickey Mouse saying goodbye or something, saying that's all or whatever, or goodbye or something like that. I thought it was really evocative of the type of something, of some vibe around that era. I found it really interesting, but anyway. AI being the AI access being programmed the way the AI access is programmed, you get certain stuff off the back of it and all that sort of thing. But yeah, turns out, according to the AI service, and I've got no way of verifying this, that Morris, that what Morris said or whatever wasn't accurate. But yeah, it's really. I remember when I read it, it struck me. Yeah, that's quite an eerie thought. The closure of TV before the onset of war, and it wouldn't come on. I think it was 6 years later. But yeah. Well, that was it really. That's all I really wanted to do this for. To say like, yeah, that just the simple act of looking at sunlight falling on a wall can evoke such states that if you're saturated by mediation by the mass media, I don't think you can really get. But we live in a world where, in the West at least, I'm guessing the majority of people media saturated. Let's put it that way. And so their pace is sort of influenced by the pace of the media they're exposed to and stuff like that, or the medium is a message or whatever. But yeah, that's the world we live in. Most people probably can't get into states like I got into. But yeah, fascinating stuff. To me, anyway. There ain't much else to say about the day, really, apart from that. But yeah, yeah. I don't bloody know. Programming artificial intelligence to make it even more artificial than it was in the first place. I don't bloody know. But anyway, see you tomorrow, I suppose.